love is more important than like all these materialistic things. So like don't judge me.
Hi, I'm Siobhan.
Hi, I'm Vanessa.
Hi, I'm Nick.
Hi, I'm Leah, and this is
ZULA ChickChats.
So today we're going to be talking about social background and whether this matters when you are dating someone. So social status or social background is defined as factors that shape a person's lifestyle, such as education, family connections, career, and your wealth.
Okay.
And this kind of defines where you stand in society. First of all, how much does social background or social status matter in Singapore society today?
Okay, I think people place quite a high emphasis on social status globally lah. But in Singapore, I think it's particularly important because we are a first world country. Our primary concern every day is not like about survival for most of us lah. When you are in a privileged position, then you start thinking about, what is my social status?
That being said, right, it's very blatant that people care about these things in Singapore especially. But there are exceptions sometimes, if you're attracted to someone, you're attracted to someone for who they are, not what they are.
Yeah.
I think because we are an Asian society, and Asian society we care a lot of like face value.
Yeah.
I think it's just the perception that for example, if you go to very good schools, you have very good education, means that you have very good job, means that you have a very good family, means that you have somehow blessed with very great genetics. I won't say it completely defines someone, but it does play a huge part, especially when you decide to build a family with another person.
It does matter because it's about being respected in society, and all these different factors, right? The higher up you are in each factor, the more respected you are and the more credible you are. You're wealthy because you get a better paying job, right? If you talk about getting a business degree versus an arts degree, I've heard so many times that people say they have to work double as hard as someone like me who got a business degree because they're in arts degree, because they're like, no, I confirm cannot get a job one.
My grandma used to ask me are you going to be a doctor?
Oh,
she's always asking me that.
Okay,
so I guess that's where it comes from. It's not even just today, it's way back.
So aside from in the Singapore context, would you date someone from a different social background from yourself?
I would.
Okay.
I've done it before. I dated someone who unfortunately wasn't able to afford school fees, so he had to drop out. He just had a really tough childhood. So the contrast was
Right. I think for me, I definitely would just to put it out there first. But it depends on the dating process also. If I had already met this person in school or whatever, right, and I don't know anything about their social background, but you know what, we can get along and all that, then that's fine, because to me that's the most important thing. But if say you're talking about Tinder, where all I can base on a person is how they look plus the information that they provide in the bio, right? Which is when they say they study this or they do this, obviously I'll be more inclined to gravitate towards someone who is similar to me lah.
For me, it's lower income, middle, working class, and then upper middle, that kind. I will have to date someone of either the same so-called status or a bit higher. Cannot be too high because you get a lot of rich men's problems. Okay, my ex-boyfriend, he's not say very educated, but he's actually from a family who dabble in hawker food. They own a hawker stall. We grow up in a society where it's you're a hawker stall uncle. Immediately it's you are slightly lower tier.
Yeah.
But in actual fact, right, he's way richer than so many people.
I was gonna say that.
Yeah,
they
it's
earn so much money.
Yeah, they earn so much money.
They wake up at 4 a.m, they plug taugeh and all that, but they're driving a Merc.
By the way,
They drive a Merc with their taugeh.
what I'm trying to say is that they're not in white collar jobs, but they're actually very wealthy.
They are earning white collar money.
Yeah, they're earning way higher than white collar money. Status wise, right, you can't just look at your job. It's wealth can come in many different ways.
Can I add something?
Sure.
You know that guy that I told you about? So what happened was, even though we tried, it ended because of this problem. So he's from a less privileged family, he's been through a lot of stuff. And he made me feel like I wasn't deserving of my life.
Oh,
He would
okay, no,
actually-
oh my god.
Yeah, he would actually
cannot.
say things like, you are so entitled.
That is the worst.
I want to go for brunch, right? He'd be like, you're so entitled. That kind of thing.
I feel that if both parties can see each other's point of view, right, then definitely it'll be able to work out. But if one party doesn't agree, right, then confirm cannot. Because a rich person's problem doesn't mean it's less of a problem than a poor person's problem. So according to research, social background and social status does affect your dating choices. So we'll go through the few reasons why. So the first one would be, the reason why you date someone of the same social background, right, is because the likelihood of them understanding you is higher.
Yeah.
So do you think this is true?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
It can be these differences that,
Complement each other.
and it might be intriguing as well.
I feel that a lot of my poly friends will tell me J people, you don't understand lah, that kind of thing. I think because of this factor, right, like the more likely I will go and want to date someone from, example, who graduated from JC, right? Because they understand me already, and I don't have to like try to justify myself. It's just easier to date within like your own social background. It's just easier to get rid of the judgment. Really.
You don't have to bother with like breaking the preconceived stereotypes that people already have of you lah. If you date someone from the same like group or with the same background, then they won't have that stereotype of you.
So the next assumption, right, is that we filter people's dateability based already on their social background. So that their job, their education, their wealth, income, right? This already affects if you want to go and date them in the first place or not.
Right.
So do you think this is true also?
For example, someone who is like the same age as you, but then they only manage to do like PSLE or secondary school course.
Okay.
Yeah lah, that kind of thing. It's a very real thing, ma.
Yeah.
So then obviously I'll have a tendency to be like, oh, that this person wouldn't have the same life experiences as me. It's not about like a intelligence thing lah, cause I think like IQ is not measured based on where you study also.
Wait, so do you think that for someone who only has PSLE compared to you, do you think that they would have been through more or less?
Different, because these people could have had more creative outlets available to them because they have more time to pursue those.
Maybe they became like an actor or something.
Yeah, things like that. You could be doing construction, but you'd be like super charismatic about it.
R2 was a construction worker.
What is R2?
R2, the one that sings like that.
Oh.
The one that sings like that.
He was a construction worker and then became a pop star.
Yeah.
Chinese
Right.
one.
It's like
okay, I don't know
JJ
Chinese
Lin's-
one. I mean, no Chinese,
He's
no
the
other
construction supervisor look.
Okay. The last reason why like this affects like dating, right, is because if they're two seemingly incompatible people are getting together in a relationship, they fear that society or like people around them are gonna like disapprove or judge them for it. So I mean, is this true, or like have you seen it happen before?
A lot of times.
Like if you don't let your differences set you apart, right? Then great. But again, I think it's about how secure you are about yourself and the relationship. If you think that people are going to be judging you and you let that get to you, then it's probably not going to work out.
I think judgment is something that you can easily work around, and like ultimately just be happy for yourself.
Yeah.
Because like if you're both of you are happy in a relationship, like who cares about like what other people say lah? And you cannot convince them otherwise.
Yeah.
So just don't bother, because ultimately it's your relationship, not their relationship.
Yep.
Last question.
Nice.
Do you think these differences can be bridged in a relationship? And is there any advice you can give for this situation?
Yes.
Okay.
I think it can definitely be bridged, because if there is an initial attraction there, right, it means that there's some chemistry already lah, and when there's this chemistry, it means that there's a possibility for proper and open communication.
It really depends, really. It's a matter of choice, first of all.
Yeah.
Every relationship has, its varying type of differences. Some are more severe than the others. Unfortunately, I feel like in the real world, not every relationship is going to work out. Whether or not you let it get in the way, that's one thing. But ultimately, matter of choice. If you guys really want to work it out, it's going to be fine.
My mom always told me, if you want to date a guy for love and not because of money, expect to work for the rest of your life. It's just a very realistic kind of standpoint, where she said if you don't have at least 7K a month, don't even think of starting a family. Unless you're really willing to sacrifice all the entertainment fees that you spend on yourself, all the shopping just to start a family, then okay. Yeah, but ultimately you must consider what kind of qualities that you want in a partner.
Yeah. Actually, random, but I want to be a house husband.
You want to be a house husband?
Yeah, that's my dream. I want to be what's the male equivalent of a tai tai?
少爷.
少爷.
大少爷. Yeah.
I want to be a stay-home mom. Like I would want.
I don't even want kids Like I
know,
I
you
don't
just
want that
want
kind
dogs.
of commitment.
You
Okay, so today we talked about whether or not your partner's social background is important or not. I think the general consensus is that yes, it's important, but these are differences that can still be worked around lah.
So if you guys have any comments or opinions about this situation, or if you faced it before yourself, feel free to leave it in the comments and let us know what else to talk about next time.
And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Bye!
Bye.